Shalom, Mashpuka. I told you that the messages will turn, and this is the turn. I've been waiting a very long time to do this. This turn, I'm gonna have to explain about this turn. This turn is dealing with messages that will be coming forth, dealing with people within the borders. And these messages, most of them that's coming forth, they will, for the next few months, they're going to be dealing with people that's within the borders. Now, for those that's on the outside of the borders, you may get a little lost. You may get lost. It may not pertain to you, but this is the turn that the Most High have me on right now. And for those that's preparing and making their plans, this is for you also, because you making your move and you will end up in the right place if it be Yahuah's will. This turn is something that we need. The Most High, I heard the Most High, the people are not ready for what's to come. So he's saying, get my people ready for the wilderness. Get my people ready for the wilderness, because we are not prepared. We are not ready. When you're not ready, of course, you fail. The first message is dealing with separation. The separation. This is the first message. And it's once again, it's the beginning of something. He's doing something. And our people don't understand what the Most High is doing. This is bigger and greater than any movement. It's his movement, and he is separating righteous people. I want you to understand the separation before I get started. He's separating righteous people from wicked people. This is the separation in a nutshell. He's separating the righteous from the wicked. And once he gave me this, it was, of course, months ago when he gave me this, I was just, I was stunned. It's amazing. We can't see what he's doing. And I don't see what he's doing unless he speak it to me. We don't see what he's doing. And when he revealed what he's doing, it blows your mind. And I was blown away of this separation. And some time went by. And then I saw Louis Farrakhan. He put up, he did a message, separation or die. And immediately I was like, I have to see this. What is he talking about? Because this is what I know the Most High spoke to me concerning this separation. He's saying separation or die. Separation, the only solution. So I looked into it. I listened to this whole entire message. And of course, he's coming from the Muslim perspective, and he's off track, of course, but a lot of what he said, it was on point. It was right. It was the right information that he's telling the people. Separation or death. This is what the Most High is saying. He didn't give me separation or death. He gave me the separation, and how he's separating his people. And so I have to give what he gave me, the separation. But I listened and I took notes, and I also found out that the Nation of Islam, they've been talking about this separation for a while. This is something I didn't know. They've been talking about this for a long time, but that's the problem. They only been talking, and their mind is not in the right mindset. Let me show you what Ali said. Black people in America will never be free so long as they're on the white man's land. We can't be free until we get our own land. Now, that's the right mentality. That's the right thought. And our own country in North America, that's the wrong thought. That's not what the Most High is saying. He says when we separate from America and take maybe 10 states, then we'll be free. No, that's not what the Most High is telling his people. And this is, of course, Farrakhan done this, separation or death. It was October the 15th. And again, the Most High spoke this to me months before I saw this video. But of course, I had to watch and see what it is that he said. And I jot down a few notes that I want to go over what he said. One thing, the first note, he said 400, we've been in America 462 years. Now, that number, I don't know where he got that number from, but let me tell you, the people say 2019 will be 400-year prophecy up. And I'm like, no, it's up when the Most High visit his people. That's why he gave us the visitation. So when he visited his people, it was up. And these people are looking at 400 years is not up yet, and they're waiting for 2019. This is deadly. So I agree with him. We're over 400 years in America. I can agree with that because the Most High, why? The Most High visited us. What else he says? He said, of course, he's starting to quote the Bible. And he says, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. And he mentioned we need to establish our own. He said, either on this continent or elsewhere. Now, I don't agree with this continent, but elsewhere. You see, he's telling his people we need to be thinking about being separate from this, from the evil. This is what he's saying, but we cannot separate within their system, and they will never give us land, any land, especially land within the United States. He went on quoting, and he's kind of looking toward the government. The government is not going to help, but he mentioned the government send tax dollars to Israel, occupying Palestinian land. And this is correct. The tax money of Americans is going to Israel. They give Israel, I brought this out before, Israel get more money than any country in the world. And then he went on to quote Thomas Jefferson. And here's quote he quoted from Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson says, separation or death. You see, it's been on their minds for a long time. Deep-rooted prejudice entertained by whites. 10,000 recollections of the blacks of the injuries they have sustained. New provocations, the real distinction which nature has made, and many other circumstances will divide us into parties and produce convulsions which will probably never end. But in the extermination, listen at this, but in the extermination of one race or the other, this is exactly what the scripture is saying. You see, Thomas Jefferson, they read some of the scriptures, and they knew nations shall rise against nations, and they always feared the people, the slaves, would rise up against them. He also quoted this from Jefferson's: nothing is more certainly written in the book of fate than that these people are to be free, nor is it less certain that the two races, listen, this is what he said, two races equally free cannot live in the same government. He's saying two nations that's free, you can't live under the same government. Nature, habit, opinion have drawn indelible lines of distinctions between them. So these are permanent lines that's been drawn between them. And again, they are right on the money. Now, I want to go with this word separation. What is the Most High telling us? Because we have to realize what he's saying. Yes, a lot of what Farrakhan said, it was true. Yes, there's a separation coming, but the Most High separation is not talk. It's action. This is what it is. It's not talk, it's action. And see, the Nation of Islam, they've been saying this since their leader Muhammad was living. He made this statement. And not yet have they made any action. Separation. The action, remember, this separation is an action. Action or state of moving or being moved apart. And this is what's going on. The Most High, he's always separated people. He separated the sons of Adam. He separate. I'm going to go into how he separated righteousness from unrighteousness. All through scripture, this is what he did. He separated the people. And here are the synonyms. Disconnection. He's saying disconnect from this system, disconnect from the wicked people. And this thing goes beyond Babylon, because this is something that you don't hear a whole lot. You hear me say through the scripture, come out of her, my people, talking about Babylon. But he's saying for all of his people all over the world to disconnect from evil and wickedness. Detach yourself from them. Severance. Severance is cut. Disassociation. Don't even be associated with them. And when you come from among them, you will not associate yourself with them. Disunion. This is what he's saying. And this is what we must do. Now let's go into the scriptures. Jeremiah 29:11. He says, for I know the thoughts that I think towards you, says Yahuah, thoughts of shalom and not evil. He says, to give you a future and a hope. Our people, that's all we long for. Us, gooey, that's keeping commandment, that's all we long for. A future and a hope. This is no doubt for all. This is for the righteous. The righteous is looking for a future and a hope. Christians are looking for a future and a hope, but their future and their hope is tied up in lies, and they must come out of those lies. They're looking for the rapture. They're looking for the Most High to get them out, and they're looking for him to save them. And they're not going to do anything. But remember, they're going to have faith. You know, that's all they're going to have. Their belief. That's all it is, belief. And they're believing a lie. This is very, very dangerous. So we all looking for this future and a hope. But some of us understand that his word requires our actions. This is Ecclesiastes 16:16. His favor is manifest to every creature, and he has separated his light from the darkness with an adamant. Now understand, from the beginning, he started separation from the beginning. He separated the waters. Waters went up. He separated the waters that went up was the great waters. This is the great water, and the water that stayed down was his creation, and which was the lesser water. And we know there is no space. They're lying to us when they talk about this space. There is water above. He separated light from darkness, day and night. This is what he did from the beginning. This was the whole plan, separating light from darkness so that we would understand the separation of light and darkness. Jeremiah 58:9. And we've seen this many times. Move. He's saying, move from the midst of Babylon. Go out from the land of the Chaldeans and be like the rams before the flock. For behold, I will raise a cause to come up against Babylon, an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall arraign themselves against her. And you notice they're starting to hate her because of the move that Trump made. They're starting to hate her. And this is a fact. The scripture said they will hate her and utterly destroy her. It says, from there she shall be captured. Their arrows shall be like those of an expert warrior. None shall turn in vain. And that brings me talking about them coming up against her. I forgot to mention a couple other things that Farrakhan said. And let me see. Let me go over a couple of them quickly here. He said that through Trump, the war on blacks will intensify. The war on blacks will intensify. We see it coming. We see it coming. He says the end of America. We have seen the end of America as we know it. What is he saying? The America that we used to know, it's no longer the same America. It has changed, and it will change even more. We have seen the end of America as we know. These are the things that he said, and he is absolutely right. I agree with him on this. This thing will